Hello and welcome to Transparent, where we do interviews and not interviews. My name is Lakendra Ford, and I am so excited and have such the pleasure to be sitting here with my friend, Mr. Malek Hanna. Hey, Malek, how you
Hey,
doing?
hey, how are you?
I am great. I'm great. Thank you. I just had to have you on here because you are one of the most inspirational people I know. And
Oh,
you're always with such energy. And I just said, oh, if we have him on, it's going to be such a delight. So thank you for joining us today.
thank you for having me. It's a
Abs-
pleasure.
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, I want to tell the audience a little bit about you.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So this is Mr. Malek Hanna. He is a film producer. He is an actor. He is a vocalist. He has a master's PhD in the arts from Fordham University and Juilliard. He has just been making his way around, and not to mention have performed at the Vatican for the Pope. So, you're kind of a big deal, Malik.
Oh, stop
You're
it.
kind of a big
Now that I hear it,
deal.
I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Who's that guy?
Oh, that's you. You
That's
did
funny.
it.
No, thank you
But
so much for having me. And I knew from the moment, as you said, when your cousin connected us, my old buddy from college, we just immediately had this awesome connection. And I was like, Lakendra, you're you're awesome. And I knew things are gonna, it's gonna lead to an awesome friendship. So thank you for having
absolutely.
me on your show.
Yes, and shout outs to Corinne, my cousin. He's a great guy.
Yes, Karan Roberts. Woo, the new baby girl out there. Yes, two baby girls.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So,
Beautiful. Yes.
where are you at right? You're in LA, right?
Yes, I am in Los Angeles. I'm at my place in LA. And I was born and raised in New York, actually, in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yes, Brooklyn in the house. But I did my time over there, and I was like, the next step was Los Angeles, and I've been here for about, I think it was 16 years or so now.
Oh,
Pretty wild.
wow. You're that guy now.
I'm
You know
that
that,
guy.
right?
I'm that guy doing the bi-coastal thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yes. But Malik, I have a couple of questions, a few questions that I had for you, and I want to know if you're all right. Can we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm all
All
for it.
right.
Let's do it.
Right. First, let's start with Brooklyn. Okay, so Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. Bay Ridge is
Bay
where I
Ridge.
grew up, right by the Verrazano.
Oh, yeah.
That was it was a good place to be. It was a big it was a mixed community. There was a heavily popular like Italian, Irish, Middle Eastern
Hmm,
community.
hmm.
Now it's changed throughout the years, but I love growing up in Brooklyn. I mean, I remember going to high school. I had to take I went to Xavier, which is a private boys' school in Manhattan by
Yeah.
Union Square. So I'd had to take the subway every morning from 94th Street, Ridge Boulevard, R train, all the way to Union Square.
Ooh, that's a ride.
Yes, it was quite the adventure, but I loved it.
It is
I love being in
beautiful.
Brooklyn. Yes.
So, how was it as a child growing up? Like, tell me a little bit about how you were, your upbringing. How were you raised there?
Sure. So, growing up, so I'm first generation, I guess technically. My family is from the Middle East. My dad's from Beirut, Lebanon, and my mom is from Aleppo, Syria.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of a mix, like their ancestors are mix of like Italian and German and a little Russian, but heavily Middle Eastern. So, growing up, I was born in the 80s. I don't want to give up my age, right? Let's just say somewhere in the 80s.
Somewhere in the 80s.
Somewhere in the 80s. And there was war going back and forth for a long time. And my parents just had to kind of like pick up and leave. And it was a tough time. And then my sister was born. I have an older sister. She's about 3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
She's not in the arts. She's completely in medicine. She's a gastroenterologist, actually.
Okay.
And then I popped out 3 years later. But yeah, growing up in a pretty, not yeah, cultured, strict to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Parents, they very they really pushed education big
Right.
time.
Right. Right.
And hence why I went to, a lot of schooling, and I fought through it at some times because I was
Oh,
like, okay, like after doing my undergrad, I was like, do I want to get my master's? My parents were like, go to grad school, and I had a lot of pressure, doing that. But growing up was, it was a fun time in Brooklyn, but there was a lot of pressure to kind of really push education or to be a doctor or a lawyer. That was very ingrained as a child, and I didn't necessarily go down that route. So it was a bit of a struggle, or like, and in discovering and being okay with what I do and how I do it, if that
right. Right.
makes
Yeah, no, I get it because I notice with a lot of immigrant families, there's a high expectation on what you should be accomplishing here in the States. They
yeah,
made a sacrifice for you to better yourself, and they just want you to just see it all the way through. So I can understand as
yeah.
being a parent myself now, but
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you. He's
It's
happy.
amazing.
He's happy. I'm
Beautiful
happy.
little
We're
boy,
all
Leo.
Leo, he's a bundle of joy. But I can see how your parents, especially seeing the bright star that you are, they saw it
Oh,
in you early. So, hey, kudos
you're
for the
sweet.
parents.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. No, cool. I love them. And now they're so supportive and encouraging, and now they're amazing. But I get it, as you said, parents want the best for their children and the way they know how, especially coming from another country. And for them, it's you gotta fight for it. And there's some struggles.
Right.
I didn't necessarily pick the easiest route, but I'm so grateful and thankful that I did,
Hmm.
because I am where I am now, and I'm still continuing to do what I want to do and loving every moment of it. So,
Right, right. And
yeah,
speaking of that, I it had to be very courageous to just one day say, guess what? I want to be a performer.
yeah, yeah.
How did that
Honestly,
work
at
out
some
for
point,
you?
it was tough. I mean, I could tell you stories, man. It was really hard growing up. Not being okay, or knowing that I wouldn't be supported if I said, "Hey, I want to be an actor. I want to be a singer. I'm actually a performer." I
Mhm.
always knew it. Truth be told, now in like retrospect, even when I was like a little kid, I do like accents, and like I just wanted to be in the television. I remember my aunt, like now at an older age, she's like, when you were like 7, you'd point at the TV and be like, "I want to be in there." She's like, so like I always knew, and I'd make like my cousins and my family members like laugh, and it was always a part of me. But my parents, again, they didn't really support that in the beginning. So I remember even like in high school, I started doing like a lot of performances and shows,
Mhm.
and in the beginning, they were like, "No, no, no, you need to be like part of the medical science academy group." And
Of
like,
course, be
I'm
more like
like,
your sister.
yeah, exactly. I was like, oh man. But when I was younger, I did do a lot of sports too. Like I was on the track team. I loved playing soccer. I played tennis. And then I remember in high school, I think it was like sophomore year, I officially, I think, quit the track team, but I didn't tell my parents. But
Oh,
I got one of the leads in the school musical.
okay.
And I knew they wouldn't be supportive. So, and I remember I told you I had to take the subway every day. So I'd make excuses like, "Oh, track practice went long, and I missed the archery." And meanwhile, I was like in rehearsal for the show.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
after that, I hired a private acting coach on the Upper West Side with their money, like my allowance that they gave me, and they had no clue. So I'd be like extra late coming home. I'd be like, "Oh man, that subway, that
Listen, Malik,
subway
I hope they
delay."
already know this. I hope they already
I
know this.
know.
Don't watch this.
I think my mom knows this. I don't know if my dad knows this actually.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's about to find out. So, surprise, surprise.
Hey, family.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's wonderful, because sometimes we just have to do things if you have a passion in your heart. And it's a risk, of course, but
Yeah.
luckily in your case, it paid off. And speaking of being in the TV, and you are hilarious. What?
Thanks.
Okay, let me talk to my friends out here. So this guy right here, as you can tell, his roles that he played, I'd be like, is he serious? Like, you really pull it off, and you just so humorous.
Thank you. Aw, that's so
And,
sweet.
and then the surprising part is when you go into the serious roles. I'm like, hold up, what happened?
Right. Like, who, wait, what?
I'm
It's
like, is
just
he
you gotta
about to
believe it,
cry?
though. It's all, you just gotta believe it. That's it. As simple as it is, at the end of the day, you just gotta commit and just go for it and believe it. And I think like with
I
comedy,
believed you, and I
you
know that
believe
you're
me.
not that character. I believed you.
That's funny. It's funny you say that because the last character I played was like this. It was a funny role, but this guy was such a, oh man, how should I say it? He was a douchebag. Like
Nicely
I
said.
don't know. He was just this, like, I don't even know how to describe him. Like this arrogant, annoying swindler, but funny. And I had to make it like have an accent for it. It was one of the funnest roles that I had to do. But watching myself, I was like, oh my God,
I
who
don't
is
like
that
him.
guy? I don't know if I like that guy, but you just got to tap into it, and oh, it just happens.
Well, that's when you know you really have a talent, when you play a character that you don't even think you're gonna like.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was like, I don't like him, but I gotta play him. So
it works out. It works out. But that's always the highlights, when you find yourself in the right place and with the right role. But you're out there in Hollywood. Let's just
yeah,
be real. It can't be roses all the time. So,
it's
what are
not.
some of the things that you think you challenges that and obstacles that you think you had to overcome being in this business?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's not an easy industry. That's why my move after school, after growing up, being born and raised in New York, I always thought I was going to be like a diehard New York. I still am. I'm still a New Yorker at heart, even though
Right.
we all are. Come on, like if you're a New Yorker, you're always a New Yorker.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, 100%. Yes. But like, and when you come here, you just kind of adapt and the pace is different. But the industry wise, growing up in New York, it is obviously there's film and television, but it's heavily theater. There's a lot of Broadway. There's a lot
Right.
of, and I grew up, in the theater doing that. And I did a lot of that too. But then I came to a point where I was like, you know, I just felt like the hub of more. I wanted to get more film and television exposure
Right.
is in Los Angeles. So moving here is very daunting. It really is. Coming from New York, going to LA, it's the industry is, I think in any industry there's a lot of politics involved as
Right.
well,
Right.
and people from all over the globe move to Hollywood. They want to move to LA, they want to be discovered, and this is where they're at, and it's tough to actually really formulate, how should I say it, like real relationships, real friendships actually.
Right. Right.
But beyond the industry, it is difficult because everybody comes here for a particular reason, mostly to be discovered. So it's
Right.
hard to know who to trust, and it's hard to kind of be vulnerable in a way because you don't know, well, hey, I'm being sincere here, and is this person using it against me? Or so
Right. Right.
there is that part of the industry. And the typical people say, what is it, drugs, sex, rock and roll, all
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff. It's a part of it. It is there, but you choose whether you want to be a part of that or not.
Right. Right.
You don't have to, but people think that they need to in order to be seen or be out and about. And but there are other ways. It has been a challenge, I think, for me in regards to, at least for the first couple of years, to
Mm-hmm.
have real strong friendships, and I really cherish that. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it's everything, And as an actor too, it's all about connecting with yourself,
Right.
connecting with somebody else. But it is an entertainment industry. It is a business. So a lot of people I had to quickly learn, and I do tell a lot of people too, because now I do a lot of coaching as
Mhm.
well for young people and even
Oh,
some
wow.
adults who work on some network shows. I'm a private coach, and that way you really have to learn the business, because if you go out there and like, wow, I'm talented and great, that's all well and dandy, but you need to understand that it is an
Understand the.
industry. You have to know what you need to do. There is some politics involved, like anything.
Hmm.
But so yeah, I would say that was the first kind of struggle or challenge in the very beginning. And then as years pass, you get it. You really know who you are, where you
Right.
are, why you're doing what you're doing, who you can trust, who you can't. And I really truly believe I'm in a place now where I have such great people of integrity that I work with on a
Right.
production level, in an artistic level, on a musical level, that's really powerful. But it took a while.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Well, they say sometimes when you are in those entertainment capitals that every hello is like an audition. So
Yeah.
I get it, and being from where what you're from and where you're from, you're looking for some authenticity. So
Amen to
I can
that.
get
Yeah.
that. I guess
Yeah.
there's a reason why I was born in Los Angeles, but I didn't
That's
stay.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, but I'm staying in New
But
York.
I love LA. I love LA to visit, and I found some good people there as well.
Oh
But
yeah, there are some beautiful people out here, and obviously, let alone just the weather. Like, literally, I wake up every morning and it's like birds chirping and sunshine. Like, who do, I mean, who doesn't like that? Unless you don't like to be in the sun. I mean, that's a different
how can
story.
you have a bad day? You can't
You
have a
don't
bad
have a, that's
day.
the thing. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So how is it that you're juggling all of this? Because yes, you're an actor. You're also into film production. What
Mhm.
got you into that?
Okay, what got me into that? So, film production kind of fell in my lap,
Hmm.
but it also was something. So as an actor moving out here, you have a lot of trials and tribulations. You go on meetings to get agent, drop an agent, get a new agent, get a manager, lots of back and forth with auditions. You're always at the mercy of somebody else
Right.
outside yourself,
Mm.
whether it's the casting director or a producer or whatever it may be. So I think I came to a point where I didn't get disgruntled or bitter in any way,
Mhm.
but I just thought strategically, okay, I know this is what I want to do and I want to continue to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
How am I going to do that knowing that I'm always relying on somebody else to accept me or to choose me or to, like in
Right.
chorus line, like, pick me, I hope I
Right.
get it.
Right.
So I was like, through all my experiences, through all my education and knowledge of the industry in front of the camera, a
Mhm.
little bit behind the camera, I was like, why don't I position myself in creating content
Mhm.
and therefore putting myself in it in some capacity and doing it that way, to
Right.
have basically as a means to getting my artistry out there.
Right. Right.
Because I think the more you are in this industry, you realize that your voice can is so needed and is important. And you have to ask yourself, and also as you get older, what do I stand for? What do I
Right.
value? Why do I do what I do? In the beginning, when we're all young and we are aspire, you're talented, I'm an actor, I'm a singer. Great. You want to entertain people. You love it. You're passionate about
Right.
it. You feel it's a calling. For me, it was a spiritual awakening. It was a connection with my God, for example.
Yes.
But and if I wanted to continue that, I had to find what my voice was. And I felt that I needed to create content. And the only way to make change in a larger platform is to really know this industry inside and out and the
Right.
business of it in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to be heard and talk about serious issues that I feel are important and relevant for this world, to
Right.
help people, to connect people, and also content that is obviously just to bring joy and laughter and acceptance and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's, I think, was very important and kind of like the aha for me to be like, okay, Malik, why are you doing what you're doing? So I, after like 6 or 7, about 6, 7 years ago, somehow, maybe not somehow, divine intervention, call it what you will, things just kept on happening. Coincidences, right?
Right.
Coincidences. I
Right.
don't
Right.
think coincidences. It was happening for a reason. So these people were like, "Oh, Malik, they were trying to look for financing, for example, for one of their slate of films." So I kind of started learning about the back end of the business,
Right.
learning about the industry on how to raise money, how to get distribution,
Right.
what platforms are out there, all this stuff. So then before I knew it, I decided, I was like, let's just create a production company. So I personally reached out to 2 or 3 people that I really knew very well and who I knew were honorable, great human beings, first and
Right.
foremost. It's very
Right.
important to me, and that were talented in their own right. And I strategically knew, I was like, okay, I know what I can offer from creative producer or content or a logistics point of view.
Right.
And
Right.
let me get other people, like other pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
So I
Right.
did. So I had 3 other people, started a production company. We shot our very first pilot, which was for a TV show, which was great. Which it was with Sherry O'Terry and Horatio Sands and Linnell Campbell and
Oh wow.
Paul Poundstone. So for the first part, I was like, damn, like we got some pretty amazing, talented people that I've always loved as well as and admired, who were also very good friends. And
Right.
they all pitched in. We had like a shoestring budget, and it was kind of just it was a passion project that turned into something very sellable. So then we got this product. We shot a pilot. We got into the New York Television Film Festival. We got some notoriety there.
Ooh,
Um,
you've been working.
yeah, so it's been cool. And this was the very, very first project. This was years ago. So fast forward, I created another entity, another production company with my current producing partners now.
Right.
And I've been working on this slate of films for the past 6 years. And they're, once again, each have their own specialty. One's like an entertainment lawyer, another one is a writer director, and
Right.
they're all really great content that we're creating ourselves so that I can act in them and also produce them. So it's a lot. It's a lot of,
A lot of moving parts. I see, but you know what?
logistics.
Yeah,
Exactly. Just
you
talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired.
hey, listen, you're navigating it. It's nothing like an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. And,
That's the thing. You got to think as an entrepreneur in this industry and the way that things are evolving, Lakendra, with different outlets that we have out there with
Mhm.
with TikTok and Instagram. This is the future. And the producing partner I was just working with Musically, he's like, Malik, you got to get on Twitch and you got to get on. I'm like,
Yeah,
there
it's a
it,
lot. It's a lot.
it's a lot to handle, but when you're working with good people that are on the same page, you're on the same wavelength, and it's for a good cause, and you know what the value and what you're creating,
Right.
things just come to you and things just form. And there is a lot of hurry up and wait. So as I said, I've been waiting. I've been working on this slate of films for 6 years, but God willing, hopefully, I think that 2022 is the year. It's
We
moving in.
claim it. We claim it. We claiming it. I'm
Yes, we're
declaring it
claiming it.
right
We're
now.
saying it
Yes, right
now.
now.
Here and now on Transparent.
Y'all heard it here first.
On
2022.
Interview. We're hearing it here first with Lakendra. Yes.
Oh my God. Everyone listening, y'all can see why I love this guy, right? He's just so awesome. So with that being said, now just to add on because it's like so many levels to you. So now we get to the vocalist, the
Oh,
man
the voice.
who sang on The Voice in Arabia. and the man who sang for the Pope, and the man who's opened up for the Lakers at the Staples Center.
Aw.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
come on, come on, go sit down.
I know, right? I gotta keep it active, Lakendra. We gotta keep it going. You know what? I can't just sit still and, at the end of the day, you got one life, so you gotta do it right. You
I
gotta
feel
do it
you.
right.
I feel you on that. Get them. You gotta. What they say: live full, leave empty.
Oh, I like that. I don't know if I ever heard that.
Yeah, you gotta
Live
live your life to the
full,
fullest,
live
and when
I
you leave, you're empty because you gave
live
it
empty. I
all
love
that you
that.
had, all that
I
you
love
have.
that. I love that. Sometimes I do think I'm like, am I doing enough? Should I be doing more? And then sometimes I'm like, well, should I focus on more of one thing? I know going back to my family and like childhood, once they were very supportive of what I'm doing and they saw that I'm booking things and, they saw what I can do. Um, they're like, well, why don't you just focus on this? Why are you also doing this? And like in my mind, I was like, well, should I not? I don't know. Is it a
you,
blessing?
you know, creative
I'm like,
people.
if I still think that I can do it all, and I'm still gonna do it all.
Right, right. You know how it goes. You throw enough at the wall, something's gonna stick.
Something's got to stick. And Lakendra, this is part of the industry. You
Yeah,
might think, oh, some people, I know some brilliant artists, like musicians or screenwriters that are working on projects for 10 plus years and all their focus is on that, which is great, but it is the nature of this industry. Sometimes that it will not happen. So now again, in retrospect and thinking about family and parents, I understand where they're coming from. It's like you devote all these years, and then sometimes, at least again, if you go in a particular field that has an end, like an accountant or a
right,
lawyer, or not, I
right.
mean, that's amazing, not to discredit
Those
anything,
people, yeah.
brilliant, but you know that you're going to get to that. As
Right.
an artist, as an entertainer, as a performer, you don't even know, and you can live your whole life in trying to get there. So it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Where did I get that from? I think I got that from.
But I do truly believe, especially as far as creative, there's divine appointment. And sometimes it's not all about when God gives us these gifts, it's not always about the destination or where you're going to arrive. It's the process. You can
Yeah.
be healing people in the process, healing yourself in the process, sharing love in the process. What would
Yes.
this world be without people who, just take a risk?
Yes.
And live
Amen to
the
that.
better
Yes.
version of themselves. So, hey,
Yes. Thank you for
Mr.
that. Yes. I
Academy,
think that was beautiful. And that it really is, like, honestly. And I think as one matures or is in this industry, again, going to see, what value and what you can bring as a human, the healing aspect of it is such an important thing. At least it
right?
is for me. You just touched upon it and just inspired me to talk about it a little bit. Healing on a personal level, I think, is so critical,
Right.
for everybody. I think we're here to heal each other in so many different ways, and it is through the journey. Like sometimes I think it's a big blessing. And when I was younger, I would think, man, like if only I was more successful or I made a name for myself at a younger age. Oh, I could have been blah, blah, blah.
Right. Right.
And now I'm like, you know what? But maybe it wasn't my time.
Right.
And maybe I wouldn't be in a position where I know myself so much now
Mm.
and be healed in many different ways that I could not offer that healing for other people. I'd
Right.
maybe be lost in other ways. I have so many friends in this industry who are so successful, who at a young age were successful. They
Right.
were very big. They did blockbuster movies. And to this day, now they're older. Some of them were child stars. They are so sad. A lot of them are sad. They're lost. They're addicted to drugs, medication, alcohol, party too much, whatever it may be, because and I look at them and I see them, I'm like, wow, I feel so blessed. I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Yes.
You that he knows at the end of the day that I didn't get what I wanted from before because wow, would I have turned into a version of that where
Right.
I'd be lost and empty inside because I feel like when you're so successful at a very young age,
Right.
I'm talking about before turning into a teenager, you don't know who to trust. You
Right.
don't know if people are talking to you or want to befriend you or want to connect with you as a friend or romantically because they want something from you or because you are who you are or because they really want to connect with you or love you that way.
I I
So,
I
you
get
know,
you on that, and you know what? I've had the same experience. A lot of people are surprised. I have friends that are so successful in black and white.
yeah, yeah,
Accomplish things.
yeah,
But when you're going through turmoil as an individual, as a human, it's hard to keep sedating yourself, you know?
yeah,
So that's why a lot of time people used to say, okay, if you make it at this time in your life, it's all good. No, but if it's not going to be when you're ready, and God knows when we're ready, even if we have a vision, He has a better vision, you know?
absolutely.
So
And it
time,
took me a while to really believe it. I think I always kind of thought it, but to have it really not only understand it from a mental perspective, but really to feel it and know it and believe it internally is a whole different thing.
right.
It's a
Well,
whole
guess
different
what?
thing.
Because I always think like this, like, what if God told you when you was 13, like, listen, I know you're going to try every single day to achieve these goals, but you're
Uh-huh.
not going to be quite successful
Uh-huh.
until you're 50.
Right.
We would lay down and die. Like,
Right.
no. So it's best
Exactly.
that we don't know and we keep trying and we keep developing and becoming more of ourselves than just knowing that there's no way but down from here because you don't know how to inspire yourself anymore. So, you
That's
know,
so true. That's so true. And I think it requires a certain not only mental focus and emotional connection, but just you know what it is, Lakendra? I think now I just thought of it. It's the moment what is it? The moment you let go of control
right,
is when you gain all control. It's kind of like when you just surrender yourself. So, like when I was in a position or at an age where I'm like, okay, well, I'm fighting and pushing. I'm getting in the way of my own self. That's not what he wants of me, or Michael. So when I let go of it and be like, you know what, you let me know. Then
right.
it's kind of like, oh man, I get a call from this person. I get a call from this person. I got a call from this person. It's like everything kind of like it feels it's like magic,
Yeah,
but it could be, but it's all about you letting go
right.
and kind of trusting in something beyond yourself and letting that guide you. And I could truly tell you from a personal perspective that the moment I acknowledge that and let that happen is when things just started miraculously happening. And you live in a better, more content, more peaceful, more calm, more loving, more compassionate space. And you
Right.
don't hear the voices, oh, I'm getting older, or am I good enough, or does this person like me, or well, maybe this, all that goes out the window.
You start
And
to
you,
find the
and
peace. You start to find
yeah,
the peace in the pieces. You
yeah,
know?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
I
I'm
want
taking that.
well,
I
I
love
took it
it.
from somewhere. I
Find
don't know
the
where I
peace in
got
the
peace in the
pieces.
pieces. Yes,
I
yes.
love
Peace
that.
in the pieces. Here
I
we go.
love that. Yeah,
No,
well
but
said.
no, that's the power of God and God that abides in us when we grow into
Yeah,
that wisdom that we already have everything that we're going to need for this journey.
absolutely. And then we just
So
overflow. It's just our
yes,
cup just overflows. I love it.
right.
Yes.
And what I've learned this year, especially the last few months, something the spirits just spoke to me. It said, detach yourself from the outcome.
I love
And
that.
because
Yeah.
and in this, I've been meditating. I'm like, okay, it makes a lot of sense, especially for me. And I know for a lot
Yeah.
of people, when we detach ourselves from the outcome, we
Mm,
more so involve ourselves in the moment, in today.
so
We're
true.
present with ourselves, you know? So
Yes.
it's not better than that. It's not
Absolutely, but it's hard.
better
It sounds so simple, right?
than that.
But it's not. It sounds so easy to do, but humans, we
Right.
struggle through it, and everybody who says they don't is lying. I mean, like,
Yes. They're like,
right,
but the lies you tell.
right, seriously. Uh,
But
well,
Malik,
that's interesting. We're going on all different types of topics, but I love it. We're
oh,
just
now
being
listen, we
inspired and going
vibing.
with it.
We vibing. That's why this platform is for interviews, not
Yes,
interviews. You know,
yes.
because it's like,
Interview.
yes, because we all have a personal perception of ourselves and this world. And I just, I think there was time, especially now, what are we
Mhm.
fronting for? Everybody's going through something, one thing or another. And
Exactly.
if you don't get a chance to be authentically you and speak your truth, then
Yeah,
who's
and
going
then
to
one
speak it
day you're
for
gonna
you?
exactly, and then one day you get so old, you're like, "Oh man, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda," and then life's over. It's like, "Really?
Right,
Now?
right.
Now?" Like,
So, this is one of
everybody
the
has their path though,
podcasts.
right? Everybody has their time, their
Right.
journey, I truly believe that. Some people are ready for it, and some people can live and die and just go through life not feeling or wanting or just being a robot, I guess, you know.
Right. The first thing happens, we start getting disconnected from our soul, But
Yeah,
it's a beautiful. Life is a beautiful process, And I'm
it
I'm
is.
seeing and I'm loving what you're doing, brother. I am loving what
Thank
you're
you,
doing.
Lakendra.
You are such a light, and I'm
Thank
sure an
you. Well, look who's
inspiration.
talking. Look who's talking. Miss Light herself, and Miss Entrepreneur, an incredible singer, and a producer, doing
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
things, and
It's
doing your
all shea
interview.
butter.
It's really beautiful. Seriously.
Oh,
Beautiful inside and out.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Reciprocated.
And I just, this has been great. We could be here all night, but
Yes, I know, right?
we're gonna have to do take two. But I want
Yes.
you, if you could, Malik, um, to finish this statement for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the legacy of
Uh-huh.
Malek Hanna
Uh-huh.
will be found where?
The legacy of Malek Hanna will be found in his love for mankind.
Oh, yes.
That
Okay, there you
that
have
will
it,
sum it
everyone.
up. Because in whatever means that will manifest, whether it continues with my music, with my acting, it's all infused with that. In my relations, in my connectivity, in my speech, in where I go and what I do and what I say, it's
Mhm.
all, yeah, it will tie up to that.
Oh, beautiful,
Huh,
beautiful, beautiful.
thank you.
You
Yeah,
you know you see, I know you can feel this vibration coming your way because
I
I just
do.
want you to just, if I could, you don't have to, but if you could just
What?
hold one note, just like, can you just
You want me to hold a note, like sing something? You
like,
gonna sing with me? You gonna sing with me?
no, I'm not going to
Why
say.
not? All right, we'll sing since we got so inspired. We're talking about interview, which I love it,
Mhm.
and God being very present in what we do and why we do what we do.
Praise him, praise him.
We'll just go. We'll do a. How about amazing grace? How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but
But
now
now
it though. I had a little
Let the
crack there, but
choir
I got
say
inspired to sing
amen.
Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace. And thank God for grace. Thank God for grace.
Amen.
Malik, you're just exceptional. You're just exceptional. And I really thank you for sharing this time with me.
Thank you. It's a
Ah,
pleasure. And I know, as you said, we can like go on and on. I'm
I know, I
expecting
know.
your visit to Los Angeles,
It's going
so
to
we can
happen. We have
continue
things.
that.
We have
I
so
would
many
love
things.
that.
But I can't let you go without you telling everyone how they can find you.
Oh, sure. Yes. So I have my website. It's www.malekhanna.com. Oh my
Mhm.
God. And look, Dixie wants to say hello.
Hey,
Look at my puppy.
Dixie.
So it's Malek, Malek,
Mhm.
Hanna, Hanna.com. So it has all my stuff is there and my music is on there. If you click on the link, it leads to my Spotify. I have a music video that I recently
Yeah.
released. I think it's been like 6 months. Pandemic time, you don't even know. It's like 2.5 years. Like,
Is
what the?
that beautiful stranger?
Yes, that's my music
Yeah,
video.
it
Beautiful
kind
Strange.
of had hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah,
Oh. Well,
whatever, right?
just a couple.
Just a
But
little
so yeah, so
something.
it has my music on there, and I have some, all my other fun links. And also stay tuned. I have two other songs that are in development that I'm hoping to release within the next 6 months.
Mhm.
One of the songs is called "We Can't Stop," which I was inspired by COVID and the pandemic, because everybody is so kind of, at a different space
Mhm.
mentally, physically, emotionally. So I felt like I needed some more
We
inspiration. So We Can't Stop is more of an anthem, upbeat song, which is in contrast to my other song, which is more of a romantic, ballady type of song. So yeah.
all right. Well, that is great. Look at him.
Look at her. This is Dixie.
Hey,
She's a
Dixie.
Hollywood dog now.
Oh, she looks very, very ready. Okay.
But she's ready.
Well, you take care of him, Dixie. I love you
Right?
so much,
Yes.
bruh. Thank you for being here
Love you,
on Transparent,
Lakendra.
where
This
we do
was so
interviews.
awesome. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Transparent, we do interviews here and not interviews. Until next time, I speak to you soon, bruh.
See you soon.